Achilles, a fast runner, decides to challenge a tortoise to a race. In order to make it fair, he gives the tortoise a decent head start. Now, in theory, Achilles should be able to pass the tortoise pretty quickly, but we have to look at the space between them. For you see, by the time Achilles gets to the point where the tortoise started, the tortoise has moved a little. And then once he gets to the point where it was before, it has moved a little. Meaning that no matter how close he gets, the tortoise will always be moving, such that he can never actually pass it, and the distance between them just divides infinitely. Even if Achilles suddenly develops superhuman speed, it just wouldn't matter, because you can always divide numbers into smaller and smaller fractions. This is one of 3 paradoxes created by Greek philosopher Zeno. He also made 2 other paradoxes, and all 3 of them are tied together by the idea that motion is weird. The second of these paradoxes he created is the dichotomy paradox, and it actually has some similarities to Achilles and the tortoise, in that it deals with infinitely dividing distances. So say you want to walk to a place. Well, in order to get there, you first have to walk halfway there. In order to walk halfway there, you have to walk a quarter of the way there. But before you can do that, you'd have to get 10% of the way there, and then 5%, on and on and on, meaning that you'll never actually be able to get there. The last of these 3 paradoxes is known as the arrow paradox, and it goes like this. If time is made up of individual instances, then how do things move? Like, think of an arrow, for instance. At any given instant, it's just occupying a certain amount of space. So how is it possible that it can then move to another space in a different instant? Now, I have a feeling that most of you watching this have been thinking, okay, these paradoxes are fucking stupid. What is this guy Zeno even on about? Well, that's where we get into why none of these paradoxes actually work out. It's because, you see, Zeno seemed to be under the impression that space and time are made up of individual blocks or instances. But our modern understanding of math shows us that we can give you an infinite amount of smaller and smaller steps and still get a finite result, despite the fact there's an infinite amount of steps. Or it tells us that motion is not based on where something is going at an instant, it's based on its change over time. Zeno didn't prove that motion doesn't make sense, he proved that infinity does not make sense. And those were Zeno's paradoxes, explained in short. Subscribe for more.